We're going to start now with our form conventions. The form of our documentary is
short film.
Now, our first convention from form conventions is that normally short films only last around 10 minutes. We were able to follow this convention as our documentary is only about, how long is it? About
10 minutes.
7
minutes.
Great. 7 minutes long.
7 minutes.
Which means that it is still a short film.
What are the advantages of it being short?
The advantages? Well, what are the advantages of it being short? The
it.
advantages of it being short, or benefits, would be that we are able to get very clear and concise information. You know, there's no waffling about, is there? Straight to the point.
Straight to the point, so the audience can immediately form intellectual pleasure and have short things to think about, right?
Yep. That's what we were going for.
Yeah, but however, like, what was the challenge of
Challenges of this
short?
was that in the editing or post-production stages of our documentary, it meant that it was quite time-consuming because we had to go through the whole of our interviews, which usually are about 20 minutes
20
long,
minutes, and we had
at the
to
least, and
really
we had
look
to
over them
really
and find the right information to put.
Yeah,
right?
we had
That
to keep
was
going
quite
through. We had to go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
And pick out the really key bits of information, and that was pretty hard because obviously they're all professionals, so they all know what they're talking about.
All of the information was really, really good. We thought it was really important. No, that was hard.
Sorry?
That was hard. No, it's fine.
Our next convention is low budget. The lack of sufficient funds, etc., etc. And it usually means that you stick to 1 or 2 locations and have very few actors. Am I right?
Yes.
Now,
But what happened? Did we follow this or break this? We
broke it! Why did you hit yourself when you say that?
broke it.
Broke it. Okay. This is as we said, a convention that we broke due to the fact that our documentary has shots of New
York, LA,
which are places that would be very expensive to travel to, which obviously a low budget film wouldn't normally be able to get to, would they?
Mm-hmm. No.
It would be pretty impossible if they
Yeah.
were very lucky, which we were, because luckily
I was able to go to these cities.
on holiday.
Yeah,
She was able to go to these cities, and we thought we'll take the opportunity, we'll film there.
To make it even more
worked out
appealing for
very well,
Sundance Film Festival, because Sundance is one of our exhibition plans, which is in
It's an
the
American
States.
audience,
So it
so
will
we
have
thought
more
it
of an
appeals
American
there.
appeal because it'll have personal identity through these locations.
However, if we didn't go to these locations or these places, then we would have to be able to follow this convention.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it helped us because it kind of
definitely helped us.
it kind of helped us promote the universal aspect of happiness, because we're able to show
That
not
it's
just
not just-
places in the UK
Yeah.
or in London, but
Yeah.
as well as an international.
And it's very much,
Yeah.
it helped us in a way to promote that happiness is very subjective.
Yeah, and attract the mass market
which is
audience
what
as
we
well.
wanted to do the whole way along, ever since
Yes.
our planning stages.
Yes. Now we will
Goodbye.
take a break and be back in just a few minutes.
So our third form convention is niche audience. Now, niche audience is obviously a smaller audience compared to a mass audience, obviously. This can be because of the creativity, length and plot. Also, not many people are aware of short films, or sometimes not even that interested in short films, because they can be quite intellectual at times. At first, we stated that this is a convention which we would follow. However, did we?
No!
The reason we broke this convention was because we used the locations such as
New York and LA, which are all in America.
Therefore, we would be appealing to the
American audience and provide them with a form of personal identity. Therefore, expanding our audience.
reaching a wider, vaster majority of people.
Yes. Also, we did this because our planned exhibition for a short film was for it to be shown at Sundance. And we all know that Sundance is in America.
American.
It's an American film festival. It's not really. It's in America, but it's an American film festival. Yes.
And originally, we thought that our audience was going to be from the ages of about, was it 20
to 30.
20 to 30.
Which they
And
still are.
They still are, but we thought that they would be...
People who are like chasing
Yeah.
success and that like a more local audience. But in fact, when looking at our production now, we actually appeal to people of a variety of ages, not just people who are chasing success. But
And we assume that they would also be more working class, which is very important because now, due to the montage shots that we filmed in America, kind of appealed more to the middle class. Would you say?
yeah, and like as well as the
Yeah.
upper class can be as well. But
Mm.
but more in fact. But the fact we included like all different ages kind of appeals to all ages. Like everybody can watch our film. It's just the older people have a more like a bigger chance of understanding it.
See. Next up, we have the convention of a small cast. So, 2 to 3 main characters. Now, how about we count up the characters that we had in our documentary? The main ones, anyway.
Sundari,
1,
Yannick,
2,
and Frederica.
3. So therefore, you can clearly see that we stuck to this convention. We followed it, obviously, because we have 3 main characters, and this would give the audience a form of personal identity, because, like, just because
they
there's
could
not
focus
as many
on
people.
And so more people can really, because we only gave 3 main characters, more people could have a chance of relating to them because they know more about
Relating
them as
to
well.
them and what they're saying, and they get used
What they stand for as well.
Yeah, and they also get used to what exactly it is they're trying to explain, which I think is important to help get the point of or the theme of our documentary across in general.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have, again, small cast. By small cast we're talking about
everybody's seen in our
everybody else
production.
that is seen in it, as she said, repeating the facts. So obviously, even though we have the 3 main characters is the key word there, we did not just have a few small people or no other people at all.
Exactly. So we broke this convention
Because
of the variety of Vox Pop footage that was included in our documentary. What I mean by this is there was a lot of people who sent us videos saying what makes them happy. So that makes them part of the cast, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Now, although this did help our documentary as a whole, and we think it did make it look a lot better, the way that it worked out in the end, the issues of having a larger cast was that it was very extremely time consuming, especially in post-production.
When editing it all the 3 together, that took
And getting, just most importantly, the communication, getting people to send stuff to us when we needed it, and just generally like the whole back and forth thing, because obviously people have got other things to do, and
so
it's
we had to
just-
keep asking them, and obviously everyone's busy, so it's much harder.
it's just a lot of back and forth. So we did end up with a larger cast, but we also used that to help portray the point that happiness is a subjective thing. So it really helped to kind of like
promote
hone that in and like really nail that subject.
And to promote the ideology that everybody can be happy, because you saw a variety of people saying what makes them happy. So no matter
From
what
ages,
happiness,
cultures.
no matter what happiness is, everybody can achieve it and find something that makes them happy, whether it's a big thing or a small thing.
Yeah, which obviously is really important.
Yeah.
And it was actually something that we looked to do from the beginning. So in a sense, it did turn out better for us, I think,
Yeah, it did.
overall. Okay, so our next convention.
And last convention for a short film
Last
is
convention for a short film is from a man called Todorov, and it is his theory of the equilibrium. Equilibrium, disequilibrium, new equilibrium. That's a lot of equilibriums. So, this is a convention that we were able to follow due to the fact that I'm within equilibrium,
where people state what makes them happy, where we have the definition of happiness, and the voice of God kind of state giving a good opinion on what happiness is, saying that to all these people in the world.
Yeah. However, then a disequilibrium occurs, which is very important to the whole narrative of our documentary. And this disequilibrium is where we have the first and the second interviewees, as they are talking about how happiness is not as it seems or as we people would expect it to be normally, and that happiness isn't always sustainable and is extremely hard to achieve and not always a good thing like we would assume it to be. However, then we do find a new equilibrium, which starts from the interview with Frederica up until the new definition of happiness, which is something that we thought was very important to create the new equilibrium, because we wanted to show that it was a completely new direction, so that it was a new equilibrium and it kind of just wasn't going around in a big circle back to the beginning.
To show that happiness is not always such a hard thing to achieve, because even the little things and everything that makes you who you are can make you be a happy person. And Frederica states that everybody can achieve this, and to do kind of the little things to kind of achieve the happiness. So yeah.
By having equilibrium, disequilibrium, equilibrium again, we are most importantly constructing a reality. You may ask how we're doing this. How are we doing this?
Well, it's because we're showing the reality of happiness, that happiness can be hard to achieve, and it does take time and work, and you really have to kind of work on your happiness. And it's kind of showing them that the reality is, if you don't want to work on your happiness, then how can you be happy? So we're showing that it's important to work on their happiness.
And you may agree with me on this. I also think that it's showing that happiness isn't always what you expect it's going to be. So you think, if I score this goal in this football game, I'm going to be happy, when truly it could actually be, even if I just pass the ball to the goal scorer, then I'm actually going to be happy as well. So it's not always how you think it's going to be, which is the disequilibrium part, and the whole point of having a new idea of happiness or a new definition of happiness. It's not always what you set out for it to be, so it doesn't always follow the same path.